have for the Ghanaian community and for the people of Ghana and here in UK and in Ghana. We also have Omega Live TV, broadcasting this live, Omega Live TV channel, broadcasting this on Zoom, live to audience around the world who are watching us tonight. If you are on Facebook, YouTube, please continue to put your messages and we'll get it read. And when the time comes, we'll call you, we'll read your questions, and I'm sure our special guest panelists will answer. And so we go tonight's topic for the evening will be UK Nationality Bill. At the last point, somewhere around beginning of January this year, we did have lawyer Bernard Owusu from BWF Solicitors who came and educated us about the bill that has already been set in motion in the in Parliament. And tonight we are graciously grateful for the presence of somebody who has, in the past number of years, I have been the chair of Ghana Union, supported Ghanaian community in many, many, many ways. For those of you who have attended events in House of Commons by my invitation, it has been through his help that we managed to secure a premises for you, a decent office, meeting place. And he loved Ghana. I do call him my boss. He's a very great man who helped Ghanaian community, irrespective of what. So I will introduce my guest tonight. This man was born and raised in Bedford and educated locally within the Bedford area before leaving for Oxford University to study for his Bachelor of Arts and subsequently completing his Master of Business Administration at Harvard Business School. Prior to 2010, he was a partner in the strategy consulting firm called LEK Consulting, and he is a founding member of the venture capital group at InvestCorp. During his business career, he helped start up numerous number of businesses and has worked in Australia, the United States, the Philippines, and South Korea. From 2010 to 17, he was elected as a member of parliament for Bedford, where he was born and raised, and he knows the area so much well. Between 2017 and 19, he served as a chairman of an educational technology company. In December 19, to date, he returned to Parliament and representing the Northeast Bedfordshire, just a border across Bedford, where he was born. He is passionate about creativity, innovation, supporting potential setups of businesses, and is eager to put this broad life experience to work in Parliament. He, of course, voted and campaigned for the Leave in 2016 referendum, and his local priorities as a member of Parliament include investing in local roads and rail links, ensuring accessible services across the villages and towns of Northeast Bedfordshire, and preserving the rural character of the constituency. In Parliament, this man is a sitting member of the Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy Committee. And so without much ado tonight, audience, please join me as I welcome to this platform and the forum, the Honorable Richard Fuller, Member of Parliament for Northeast Bedfordshire at the Houses of Parliament, UK House of Commons. Richard.
Mr. Chairman,
you're welcome.
That is a more than generous, lengthy introduction. I'm basically a guy who grew up in Bedford, left for about 20 years, traveled the world, and then came back and got the great opportunity to represent the town that I was born in for 7 years. And it was a difficult seat to win. And in 2017, in the election that the Conservatives were bound to win, I lost my seat. And 1 minute before 10 o'clock that night, I was nearly 100% sure I was going to win my seat. And when the exit poll came out, just 1 minute later, I was 100% sure that I was going to lose my seat. And then I left politics. I decided then I'd had enough of politics. I went off, as the chairman was saying, and was working in America, and then I came back, and now I represent a rural area right next to Bedfordshire. And I mention these parts because I think how we approach political issues, whatever they may be, as members of parliament, it is informed by one's life experience. And I've had the great fortune in life, not only to have a wonderful family environment and to benefit from great education, but also have had the opportunity to live and work in various parts of the world. And that affects how you are as an individual, and it affects how you look at your country of birth and where you grew up. And it has certainly informed, for better or worse, my politics. Now, the chairman mentioned earlier on that you have had already an expert on the legal issues related to the Nationality and Borders Bill.
May I just say, it's the reason why we had you here. So you as a legislator, we've actually been told a legal position. So we want you to try and clarify as much. Number one, we want you to go through with us, what is the current law? What are the proposed changes in the new bill? What stages is the bill at within the committee in Parliament? And what impact do you, as a member of Parliament, think it will have if these changes was to go through on the constituency? I know you are in Northeast Bedfordshire, but I'm sure you have all the constituencies around the country at heart. What impact will it have on them? And in case people's nationality are taken without their notice, what would you do as a member of Parliament if a case is brought to you on your desk, which I'm sure you do have every hour, every minute? For 16 years, I've been in this Parliament. That 2 years you left was a big blow because I lost a friend who cared about what we do as a community. So I'm glad you're back, thanks to Boris Johnson 2019 election, and it's nice to have you. So I will give you the stage to do your best to give us all this what. There's no why, but what.
Well, I shall try and remember those 8 or 9 questions in my head and express a view on each of them as we go through. So what is the situation pertaining regarding immigration and in a political sphere? And this is colored, I'm a Conservative member of Parliament, and immigration bills have been one of those repetitive items through my period of time as a member of Parliament over the last decade or so. And I think when Mrs. May was Home Secretary, I think she had 3 immigration bills in 7 years. And each of those bills were seeking to tighten up the existing basis of immigration, because there was a general feeling amongst many in the country that the immigration system was not working efficiently and effectively, that there were too many loopholes, and that it wasn't delivering the sort of control over immigration that many in the country wish there to be. So Mrs. May spent a number of years trying to tighten those issues up. This bill, in my personal view, is a slightly different approach, in as much as it doesn't try and modify around the edges. It tries to do very substantial changes to the way in which we assess a particular aspect of migration, which is the process of asylum to the UK. So I think it is important to see this as a sort of a different beast as a bill compared to the other bills, and to assess its likelihoods of success. The bill has a few quite important changes that it proposes. And let me take you through some of them. The first is that it seeks to differentiate people claiming asylum, essentially put them into 2 groups based upon how they arrive in the UK, designating in effect what are taken as legal or regular routes on the one hand, and a process then flows from that. And then on the other hand, an irregular and what will become an illegal route of entry on the other. And that's a very big change from where we are now. Where we are now at the moment, whenever someone comes to the UK to make an asylum claim, they are assessed through the asylum process. And there's a lot of controversy on that point of principle in the House of Commons, with the Conservative Party being and maybe some parties from Northern Ireland being supportive of that, but many opposition parties thinking that that in principle is an area which they already diverge on the borders bill. So what are the consequences of that in terms of people arriving irregularly? And when I say that, what people have in mind generally is the people who perhaps in the past would come in the backs of lorries, where people would come across the channel in boats. And the sense that a lot of those transfers, there are two issues that people have concerns about that at least. The first is that often they are using routes which have become a criminal enterprise where they pay money to be able to access those routes. And second of all, that there's no sense of priority of claim if someone is using those routes compared to a procedure where the UK say we want to have these safe routes and to set up a series of what the government can say is our commitment to accept refugees and to accept asylum claimants to the UK through safe and regular routes. And we can come back to that later if we wish. But that's what it's those other methods that people have in mind with illegal routes. But I think it is important to note that within the legislation, it still has the potential. Let's say someone comes to the UK as a student, and on their visa it says you will, as a student, you'll come and study as a student for 3 years, and then you will return to your country. If someone then uses that visa subsequently to make an asylum claim, there is every chance, we have to see if the bill passes and go through to become law, and then if it's challenged in the courts, that approach could also be captured within the issue of an illegal claim. And I think that's an issue, as I say, that we'll have to check later. But the primary focus is to try and make this change because of frustrations about the inability to deal with the illegal routes across the channel and the criminal gangs that are associated with it. So that's the first substantial change. But there are subsequent changes that arise then from that definition. So if you are now in that second category of irregular or illegal entry to the UK, under the legislation, the UK government will seek initially to remove you to your country. At the moment, you would be able to make your asylum claim and process it and have it processed, go through that route from day one. But under this legislative change, the government will seek to remove people to a second, to their own country. If after a period of time that doesn't work, then the person would then be processed in a similar fashion. However, the process of the appraisal of asylum claims is also being changed. One of the frustrations that some have over the years is that people will make an initial claim, and because the system was broken, they would be left, their claim would be stored for a while, they'd be in the UK, and then after a number of years, that individual would then have the opportunity to provide additional data. And as a member of parliament, I've seen that myself. I've seen people who